What's going on, guys? So we are back. So episode 3 of this cross cart build. You saw in the last couple videos kind of the planning, making those hubs. So now we're going to get on to making the billet aluminum upright that hub and bearing and all that stuff will go inside. So I've got it all designed in Fusion 360, and last night got all my tool paths and everything started. Pretty much ready. I need to get my big chunk of billet in the shop and get it in the bandsaw, get a couple blocks cut out, and yeah, we'll get that thing chucked up in the mill, and we'll talk about some of the thought that kind of goes into getting all that kind of set up, and yeah, start making those two pieces. Once we can get these pieces made, then we can actually start kind of mocking this thing up and getting the chassis kind of started, get this going. So sit tight. I'll try to make this as entertaining as I can. You know, a lot of this is just kind of informational stuff here. So if you're into machining, if you're into the process of doing this, maybe someday you want to be able to do it for yourself. I think this is good information for that sort of thing. Otherwise, if you're not into it, I can see how it could be a little boring. But anyway, that's where we're at, and so stay tuned. Right, so we got the aluminum cut in the bandsaw. I've got it in the mill here. I got my work set up. You can see the part here. So this is the upright. So that wheel adapter hub you saw in the last episode, it rides in the center here. The bearing is going there. So first off on this part is going to be, show you here. So it's going to I'm going to face it. Basically going to face the top of it here, get rid of about a ½ inch or so of material. Then we're going to hop into an adaptive clearing, and then we'll start doing some parallel. You just look real close, you can see we'll be doing some surfacing tool paths to kind of get everything smoothed up, and then we have some contour tool paths for the side here to get that cleaned up. So if you guys are interested, you know, I could go into depth a little more on some of these tool paths, getting some of this stuff set up, if that's something you guys are interested in. I'm not an expert with it. I'm kind of learning as I go, but I've done enough now to get the kind of the basics of it. Doing some of those surfacing tool paths can be a little tricky, but you know, luckily there's a lot of good information on YouTube when it comes to Fusion 360, so that's pretty handy. So, but like I said, we got this thing in the machine. Everything should be set up. Got the shell mill in here to do that facing up, and then we'll start doing some of the 3D adaptive clearing and that sort of thing. So that's where we're at. So we're moving along on this thing here. Up, you know, we got it roughed out, we got it faced. I got my surfacing tool paths going here, and they turned out really nice actually. I had to kind of relieve these corners here. I just did that manually just to get the bulk of that out of there. Just so that the ball end mill could get down in these corners and get these corners surfaced. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I've been using a new tool path on Fusion, and it's really definitely helped out and made this kind of stuff a lot easier. So anyway, now we're gonna do some 2D, just some contours, just to clean up the sides here, and then we can pretty much flip this thing over in the chuck. I may have to do might have to make a couple soft jaws to hold this thing when I flip it over, just because it's a little awkward. You know, first op is always easy because you got a big block of metal, but second op can be a little more tricky trying to figure out ways to hang on to the part. So that's where we're at. Guys, op 1 is done, complete. The corners came out really nice, it looks really good. So now we got to flip this thing over back in the, you know, we got to flip it over now, you know, in the truck the other way. So I drilled this hole in the part. I can indicate off this hole to get my work offset for the second op. Hopefully when I get this thing in the vise, we'll see if I need to make soft jaws. I've got a nice flat surface on this side to clamp up against, but I have this roundy surface on this back side. So we'll see how it clamps up. Might be that I have to make some soft jaws for that roundy side. So that's where we're at. So it is what I thought it would be. Got it clamped in here, nice and square on the back side, but this roundy side, it's still even with it clamped, tightened up, you can still see it's wanting to rock on me. So what I need to do is cut a relief in here, basically, so this round side can sit in kind of in this jaw a little further and kind of give it some support. So I'm gonna have to get back on Fusion, kind of model this up with a jaw next to it, and then do a work offset, get that soft jaw cut, and I think that'll work because I gotta do 2 of these, so I think that'll work for, I can do a mirror image, but I think it'll be the same soft jaw. I think I can use the same soft jaw for both parts, basically. So that's what we need to do. That's the next step. All right, so there we go. Got a soft jaw made here. And I ended up having, because of the spacing of everything here, I had to put this jaw on the leading edge of the vise, which isn't ideal because when you're clamping it, you're relying on the tensile strength of the bolt that's holding the jaw on. I had it in there, kind of clamped down. I think it'll be fine for what we're doing. It's always good to, like this one, the jaw's, you know, on the inside, so you're not relying on the bolts, you know, for the clamping. You're relying on the actual vise itself. But anyway, like I said, I think it'll be all right. So now we can get this thing, put it back in the vise. I got to pick up my work offsets, and then we'll do op 2. So I started the first op here, or the second op, and my cutter gouged the wall of my finished part on this side, which led me to believe that something was off. So I'm using this hole here that I drilled on the first op to indicate in for the second op. And I use my Heimer, call a Heimer, it's a 3D sensor. Basically I use that to pick up all my work offsets. Found the center of the hole with the Heimer, you know, started doing this part and it gouged it. And it shouldn't. It should be, you know, should be perfect with this side. So got the checking. Ended up back and went and indicated it with my tense indicator, and it's perfect. So it's perfectly centered. So then I was like, well, what could be the problem? So sure enough, went back into the software here, and you can see that this is my work offset right here. That little, oh, sorry. So I went into the model here, and you can see here that that point right there, see it there? That is my work offset. So that is right in the middle of the part. And so I kind of double checked that, and sure enough, it was off just a little bit. Somehow, you know, normally in the software, you know, it'll like snap to the center of a circle or something like that, but it wasn't. It didn't snap to the center. It was actually off a little bit, which I'm guessing that's why my part was gouged. You can see that here. It is gouged, so I'm gonna have to go back and repair that. So anyway, man, it's crazy how many things can be off, or you know, just all these little landmines you have to avoid. So anyway. All right, there we have it, guys. We op 2 is done. Not without some issues. You know, I've definitely learned on these that you almost need to make one part, get it all worked out, get all your tool paths, get everything set, and then make your real part. You got to do a prototype part almost to figure everything out. And kind of learned that over the last few years doing this, that you rarely get it perfect the first time. There's always something that you probably wish you would have changed or whatever. So anyway, I think this part's gonna work. It's not perfect, it's got a little blemish. It's just reality of doing this stuff. A few of the tool paths here, they're pretty good. They're not perfect. I need to flip the part on its, need to flip it 90 degrees upward, and then I'll bore the holes, you know, for the bolts. And then I gotta do a counter bore here as well. And that counter bore is gonna remove, you know, some of this rough stuff here that's not cleaned up. So it's not completely done yet. We still got a little bit of work to do. We need to flip it on both sides, get those counter bores, those holes done, and then we're pretty close. I might even have to flip it up, you know, flip it up on its end like this, so I can get in here and do some of these fillets on this top side. So pretty much got to flip it on every side. So it might be time to get the 5th axis attachment set up in here. Then I could do all of this stuff in one setup. But anyway, it's the nature of it. So yeah, so that's where we're at. All right, check this out. This is pretty sweet. My part's not perfect. I might actually redo it, but it's a good part to just prove a concept here. So anyway, check this out. All right, so here we go. Got our part here. Get in the screen here. There it is. It's pretty light. I don't even know what it weighs. I haven't weighed it yet. But what's cool about this, that's that piece. Okay, now check this out. Let me get you back in the frame here. There we go. Okay, there we go. We got the part. Okay, this is the front. This is the back. Okay. Got a bearing. Perfect slip fit here. Starts a little hard, but then it slides right in. Perfect. Dink. Okay, second bearing. Let's get a little, just make sure she's lubed up. Let me get some oil. Okay, a little transmission fluid here. Okay, second bearing. So, before I'm all done here, there would actually be a spacer in here that I still need to make that would keep these bearings separate. Perfect. So that'd be flush. So there'd be a spacer in there to keep these, so this would be flush. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now there we go. So that's what the front would look like. Okay. So there's the hub that we made in the last video, the steel hub. Lug nuts coming through here. Wheel bolting on. Okay. A little lubrication on that as well. And then, as you notice, we have the CV inside. It's sitting inside about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch from the face. Everything is such a perfect fit. Okay, let's try doing it this way. There we go. Zip, zap, zip. Check that out. So there you have it. Check this out. This is pretty cool, guys. So there you go. So what is that? You get that whole part is 3 3/4 of an inch thick. This is 3 3/4 of an inch. 3.75. That's pretty amazing. CV is inside, way inside. It's pretty light. Nice big bearings. Everything to ride on. You need to adjust that a little. There we go. There you go. That nice and smooth. Nice and smooth here. Big old bearings. Well, keeps sliding apart because I don't have all my. I'm not done with all my spacers and retainer rings and stuff. But you guys get the point here. This is a pretty neat part. So that keeps sliding really nice now. Now that we got some lube in there, it's sliding. But anyway, so that's that part versus this. You can see the difference. That's the unit bearing, right? Unit bearing, stub axle, then CV. So you can see the difference, what the difference is. Pretty amazing. Then, as you can see, my bearings are sliding around, but axle shaft, wrong spline. Or no, this is the right spline. So there you go. Axle coming out of there. Tons of balls are coming out. Oh, balls fell out of the CV. Anyway, that's pretty cool. That's a neat part. So let's get those out of the way. I wanted to show you guys this. It's pretty cool. Pretty excited about it. I still need to finish up this part. I need to get my holes bored, drilled and bored in the sides. And then I also have a couple holes to drill and tap here on this side for the toe link. So anyway, that's where we're at. All right, guys, so there you have it. Got this part pretty well made, although it's not perfect. I think this is going to be a good part just to kind of get everything kind of like my prototype piece. I don't think I'm actually going to use this part. It has quite a few issues, which is kind of part of machining. A lot of times it takes one part to kind of iron out all the tool paths, kind of get your fixturing figured out, and just get it all, get it all worked out. So the next two that I make are going to be quite a bit easier. I'm also gonna change the design of it a little bit. At this very point, I basically have to flip it on every side to get it all machined, which is kind of a bummer. And it gets to be kind of hard to start picking up places on the part to get work offsets. So as of like right now, I still need to machine this top edge and get this fillet kind of rounded over. But that means I got to put it in the vise standing up and down. And there's not a lot of places on this part up here to locate a fixture offset. So to basically, I got to figure out a way to find this part in space. And there's not good geometry here to find that. I mean, I totally could do it, but it's just a little annoying. So I'm gonna change a couple things, like on this double shear area here, where where these heim joints go in. I'm gonna try to, I'm gonna try to round over a couple things here to try to get it to where I can machine that from, from this side and from this side. Try to get more, more of the part machined on those two faces. And then I do have to flip it this way because I do have some holes here. These are for this hole on the side is for what they call a toe link. So on the rear, when you have independent rear suspension, obviously this thing would try to steer if you didn't have a way to, lock it in. So this is basically a toe link, which is going to go on the side of the upright. And then there's going to be another part that goes around on the outside and captures it, so it'll be in a double shear situation there. So, but I think overall this definitely proves to me that it's going to work. So that's good. I was hoping that this part was going to be one of the two for the cross cart, but the more I'm thinking about it and the more I'm kind of looking at it, during the process, I had a few issues with which I told you guys already before, but I had a couple of issues losing track of kind of some work offsets and getting things off a little bit. And so I kind of want to try to rectify those, and I just want to have a nice part at the end of the day. So, some of these tool marks and things kind of drive me nuts. So I want to make another two. Fix some of those issues and then have a nice, clean, solid part. But not a total waste. Definitely got it figured out. Next two are going to go way faster, and I think I'll have a better, cleaner end product. So I think I'm going to end this video there. Hopefully in the next episode these will be done, and the uprights should be pretty close to being done. Like I said before, I do have a few more spacers and a couple retainer rings to hold the bearings in, and some of that I got to do as well. But definitely, I would say in the next episode, we should have this figured out. So I think I'm going to cut it there. Hey guys, if you're liking this content, I would ask that you would subscribe to the channel. Do me a favor. I know everyone says that, but it is true. It's what makes these channels successful, and I think the more, obviously the more people that can subscribe, the quicker this channel can grow, and the more adamant I'll be to, keep going. It is, filming, trying to film and work at the same time. I've always just had we just want to get stuff done. And so sometimes, moving a camera around and trying to capture what you're doing can be a little bit annoying when you're trying to get things done. So anyway, I think once the channel grows and I start to see some of the fruits of all my labor, I think that'll probably get better. But anyway, so yeah, cool part. Gonna make another one, make it better. And I learned. Now I'm gonna move on and make another one of these that's nice. So all right, guys, see you in the next one.